You guys ever try energy drinks?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is going to be really bad. I'm on my second this morning.
That's wild. That is
Like,
truly
it's just not
actually
okay,
crazy.
man.
But I didn't have a chance to get coffee, so I would much rather have coffee than energy drinks.
After having like enough of them, even just one a day in a row, it starts to taste like acid.
Yeah, it's totally acid. And it's like,
Gross.
listen, it's like, didn't you not learn from Red Bull? Yeah, I know I know it gives you wings. But it's like Celsius. Okay, so like I saw this TikTok a long time ago talking about how bad Celsius is.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you consume that? Why would
so
you
good.
justify it? Why would you put that in your body?
So I saw the same TikTok, and they got taken to court for it. They completely redid their formula, and now it's
Celsius
so
got
much
taken to
better,
court, not the
yes.
guy that accused him.
yes, exactly.
So Celsius changed based upon this guy ratting him out.
yeah, because
That's insane to me.
People were
But now their
testing positive
formulation-
for methamphetamine.
Oh, what did you just say?
People were testing positive for meth when they were drinking Celsius.
So you're telling me the only
That's
time
the one I'm on, actually.
you've ever done meth is because it's about right. Like I think when you drink that, you're on meth.
yeah, the whole thing, the claims that it'll make you lose weight by increasing your. That's why it's called Celsius.
But
I don't know.
all
I
that
do get
stuff.
sweaty.
But I also think that like you've got a whole Monster Energy drink vibe.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
You strike me as a
yeah. Yep.
what's
Maybe
the other
even
one?
Rockstar.
Rockstar.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
yeah.
That's a throwback.
You strike me as a rock star guy. I don't see this coming from you.
Well, in conference, I kind of survived off of them. And
But why wouldn't? Okay, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you just have a coffee?
I actually don't like coffee.
Okay, that's the problem.
Yeah, she's a tea. Remember, she's a tea.
I drink
tea
Most
person.
people that are on meth don't drink coffee, and that is the problem.
Is
Let me
that
s-
real? Is
Let me
that
see
a
your
real
teeth. Let me see your teeth.
She's got all of them.
That one's barely hanging on.
Hold on. Last night
Yes.
we went to Olive Garden,
That's not real.
and yeah, I didn't know they still existed.
Hold on. Soup, salad.
Breadsticks.
Unlimited
Breadsticks?
salad and
Yep.
breadsticks. They don't do the unlimited.
What a
pudding anymore.
move. I don't know why this is not a bigger deal
And-
these days.
And River had a loose tooth, and he goes, "Dad, we need to go to the bathroom right now." And in an Olive Garden bathroom,
Solid
Pulled his
move.
tooth.
Solid move. Solid
Steph had
move.
been
Meth. It
trying.
was a
It
meth
was
thing,
too
so-
slippery.
That is a whole situation. My point
was-
of why I bring this up is your teeth, number one, your lifestyle, number two.
yes, yeah,
And the fact that I would never. I had a Red Bull gives you wings era when it was like diet Red Bull or light
Sugar-free.
sugar free. There we go.
Interesting.
In
I remember
2000, maybe 9 or 10, I
Yeah.
had a little run with them,
Yeah.
and it was a situation. I had a case in my garage, and I did that for a season, and then I just woke up one day and I looked myself in the mirror and I thought, son, you're a leader. You're not a follower. You're a leader, and that's why I got off of it. Let's go. Leaners, before we jump into this pod, which is going to be sensational, we want to shout out one of our great partners and sponsors. It's family to me. My little sister works at this place. Vance, shout out, love you, just saw you. Overflow, I want to highly encourage, if you're a church leader, check out Overflow. They have figured out a way for us to be able to receive stock in like 3 clicks. I want to encourage you to check out all the great things they're doing. I want to thank Overflow for being one of our main sponsors here at Leadership Lean In.
All right, hey, we want to take a quick second from our podcast, and we want to shout out Zoe College.
We do.
Yeah, we're really excited because we're doing something we've never done before with our college here at Zoe Church, and we're opening it up to people to come in, have a full ministry and discipleship program where you can move to Los Angeles. You can learn from some of the greatest leaders. We're actually having a leadership lean-in track, and so if
go.
you're a leaner, you want to jump in, get involved, then sign up for Zoe College. But we're also opening up the college to anyone around the country who wants to take online courses and still learn from Zoe, our leaders and our pastors. And so if that's you, head over to zoechurch.org/Zoe College. You can fill out an interest form or an application right there. All right, let's get back into the episode.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Leadership Lean In. We are trying to lean into the subject. We're trying to get, again, I've said it 1,000 times, we cannot promise perfection, but as always, we are trying to get a little bit better. That's called progress. Thank you every person that listens, likes and subscribes and comments on the pod. Do me a favor. In fact, right there in the comment, tell us where you're watching from today. Tell us where you're listening from today. Appreciate everybody. By the way, shout out to the new thumbnail.
Yes.
Hello.
Shout out.
It's getting
so
shared.
good.
It's a great. You guys, we had a bunch of options.
Yes.
We should post all the options.
There
And
were so many options.
by the way, I liked the other day. You took the photo. You helped me post the swipes on the back of the.
The book.
Oh yeah.
A lot
was
of
awesome.
A lot of opinions, a lot of thoughts.
Yep.
Some people like number 1 because it's very different. It's like the
Yeah.
point. And by the way, everybody was choosing this photo not knowing the subject matter or the title.
Right.
So some people were like, I don't know what this book is about, but
I like this photo.
It works though. It's so good.
I like number 2. I like number 4. Some people are like mad at me. Why are you on the book cover?
I
It's like,
saw that. Uh-huh.
why are you upset with your father? Anyways, thank you to every person that comments. Leave a comment and share the podcast. Thank you to, again, we're not the largest nation in the whole world. There are significantly larger nations. China comes to mind. However,
That's large.
leadership, lean in. We are a strong nation, leaner nation. Say it with me. I'm a leaner. By the way, we're almost to 150 episodes.
Yes.
I'm just going to say this. We got 5 episodes to go. We're going to release merch, new merch on our 150th episode. I've got to get a tee that says I'm a leaner.
Yes.
It's going to happen. It's been in this stratosphere.
Yeah, it's been swirling for a
been
while.
swirling.
I'm a leaner.
It's time.
I'm a leaner. Everywhere I go, I'm a leaner.
It's God's timing now.
It's God's perfect timing. So thank you to everybody that is a part of our nation, the tattoos, the LLI tattoos, like nobody has one.
Oh, actually,
I'm like, yeah.
Thank you to everybody. Today we are jumping in and let me put in my password and now I can do my. We're jumping in today. 6 signs that you need to grow up. And I just like this because I just got back from Miami. Bienvenidos a Miami. I was in Miami with Pastor Rich Wilkerson. I think, by the way, there's an open space right there.
yes.
And I just want to put, as a candidate, Rich Jr. should have, it's my guy.
We love it.
He's got to have a little soundbite.
Does he have a catchphrase?
Oh, yeah, he's got a catchphrase.
We'll reach out and get some options.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I can't, no, one doesn't come to mind. But yes, he does, of course. Mature Me.
Yeah.
Mature Me,
That's
his
a
pod.
great
By the
one.
way, I want to encourage everybody, go listen to Pastor Rich's new podcast called Mature Me. Fantastic stuff. We did a couple pods. We're big pod guys.
Mm-hmm.
Big pod guys.
Find me in the pod. He's got a new podcast. So we were talking about maturity this last weekend and just the reality, the ever blaring reality that I'm not where I want to be yet.
Right.
I got room to grow. I got room to improve. I'm under construction. I think every leader, there's people that are frustrated with you, leader, but there's nobody more frustrated with you than you.
That's right. That's true.
There's nobody that is more upset with you than you.
Totally.
Disappointed.
Yep.
How come? I hate to do it and I do it. I want to do it and I don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
What is this conflict? And so I think it's always important to identify, where do I need to grow? What needs to develop in me? So these are just 6 signs of like, wow, if you're struggling with this, this is where you're at. I would encourage you to the best of your ability, put a flashlight, I always think, the areas I'm growing in are the areas I put a flashlight on.
That's really good.
It's really good.
Where I'm just like, I'm focusing on this. I'm putting my time and my attention to develop this, which it has apathy, or what is it when you don't have muscles? Atrophy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
atrophy.
Atrophy.
Yeah.
I'm a big weight room guy. Hit Krieger's show for me. I'm big.
Well, the habits you have today will shape who you become tomorrow.
Let me just tell you. You want to get that voice? Get in the weight room.
Whoa.
That's a creatine.
Clearly.
That's a athletic greens.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That guy has
Nunchucks.
Nunchucks.
that guy's got
crazy.
green in his juices every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, that's a
Hulk. Yeah.
I sound like I'm on energy drinks. You guys sound like you're on meth.
Just me. Your new favorite.
6 signs you need to grow up as I leave a comment about meth.
Energy drinks is number one.
Wow.
Number 1, when you're mature, you're on the journey with the people that you're building with. And when you're immature, you don't allow anyone into the struggles that you're facing, or people on the outside of your community are the only ones that speak in. I think this is very important because, Pastor Brian Houston used to always say, the people I'm building with, I'm journeying with. There's a proverb that comes to mind. Proverb says, better to have someone that's a neighbor that's a friend than someone that's in a far distance. What it's saying is like, hey, there's people that know you, the real you, that are with you around you every day, and you've got to process. I'm excited this Saturday for our community. We're having Brotherhood Breakfast, and this morning I was up kind of getting ready for that talk. And one of the things that stands out to me about men is that they isolate.
Yeah.
They and then they struggle to be honest. And so you're going through all this problem and pain, and you don't let anybody in or anybody close to you. And I think maturity, the more mature that you get, I think the more secure you get.
Yeah.
And when you're mature, you go, you know what? I know that if I'm left to my own, I probably won't navigate through this season very well. So I've got to the best of my ability, I've got to let people in on my pressure, my stress, my financial situation, where my marriage is at. So I'm building with these people, but Paul the Apostle, here we go. Here's the gold standard. He goes, I didn't come and just preach to you. I shared my life with you. And there's the gap.
Good.
There's the gap.
Totally.
So it's like, if I just preach at Zoe, show up, I would feel so gross if I just showed up and I was the orator.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm in the trenches. I'm
That's right.
journeying. I'm talking. We're in the building together. And so I think immaturity takes their ball and goes home, and then talks to somebody that's in another state that doesn't really know. Hey, maybe maybe that could be true, but I'm not in the office with you.
Right.
I don't see your attitude. I don't see your inconsistency. I don't know the real you. So I think the reason why I'm journeying with these people is because they see the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the good. There's a lot of good.
Right.
For every one of us. There's Gary McIntosh wrote a book years ago called The Dark Side of Every Leader. Every leader has strengths and weaknesses, good and bad, a bright side and a very dark side. And so I think the reason why you got to journey with people that you're building with is they know the dark side. And they can love you enough to go like, man, your gifts are on display around me, and so are your weaknesses. And so if you'd want me to, I can help you. These people aren't there to criticize you or make you feel worse. They're there to be a strength, to be an advocate, to be a voice of reason, to be a voice of wisdom. And you're just not going to get that from people on the outside. Right. I think it's so important.
Yeah, I think there's like, when you process, you have to process in context. Totally. And if you're around people who have no context, then you're not actually processing anything that's happening in real life.
That's right.
You're just processing emotions in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And that will always lead to surprising decisions. That's how you get people who are like, oh, I'm out. You're like, wait a second. You were great yesterday.
Yeah.
What happened?
Sure.
Well, I was talking to Sally on the East Coast.
Yeah, right.
And she said at her place,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no context.
There's no context. And I think that I can really manipulate people on the outside to believe my side.
Right.
To think what I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I could sell a product.
Absolutely. And I think that when you're intentional about building on the inside, I remember this point was one of the very first things that really stuck with me from once I started coming to staff devotions and everything, because this is a value of ours. We have a lot of people coming in from the outside in Los Angeles. It's constant. And so this has been a value that I've really tried to practice. And it's been really interesting to watch people, come in and go out based off their relationships and the life that they build, because we're not just building trust and that relationship in that one context, but we're building community when we're doing that.
Right. You're building community, and really at the end of the day, you're only as good as your community. And when you build that, there's wisdom in the multitude of counselors. You build that safe tribe.
That's right.
We just got back from seeing Lee Domain. I love Lee Domain. Shout out to Grow Leader. You got to check out Grow Leader and Pastor Chris Hodges. And He said when he was moving from Baton Rouge, Louisiana to Alabama, he was meeting with Chris Hodges and getting ready to go to Church of the Highlands, the great Church of the Highlands. And Lee asked Chris, like, Pastor Chris, what do you do to stay healthy? Like, I need to know you're gonna not fail or burn out or do something dumb.
Yeah, he's making an investment when he moves.
Yeah. So are you gonna be around?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so he says, like in Pastor Chris fashion, he gives like 21 points of how he stays healthy.
I love it.
But Pastor Chris finishes and he goes, but if you ever see something in me that's off, if you ever see something that's funny, will you love me enough to pull me aside in private and correct me? Will you love me enough to pull me aside in private and tell me the truth? And I think that right there is what I'm talking about. I'm building with you, but I'm journeying with you.
It's really good.
Because we're all on a journey. I think when you journey with people, you got to give people these margins for failure, these margins for growth. Not everybody's crushing it in every season.
Yep.
So I give margin, but I love you enough. I love you enough to be in your life and committed to your life rather than, I think if you're just building, it's transactional. There's no commitment to relationship. Second one I put down is maturity submits to authority. But when you're immature, sign that you need to grow, you see authority as a problem. And just the word authority is a trigger.
Yep.
Usually authority is a trigger because it's been abused in your life. And somebody did something to you or somebody said something to you or it wasn't modeled well. You saw authority as that which tried to leverage or monetize for their own personal value, not for your value. I think authority, by the way, let's just talk about authority. I love these two A words, anointing and authority, because I'm praying for all of us that we'd be anointed. That anointed to me is that when you operate in your gift, the wind of heaven is at your back.
Yep.
That means you're anointed. Anointed for business, anointed for sales, anointed for right, set apart for it, anointed to write songs, anointed to meth, whatever.
Wow. This is crazy.
Did I just say anointed for meth? It's leadership leaning. But whatever you're anointed for, it works.
Yeah.
Right? So I know, I'll never forget, before we started leadership leaning, by the way, I was doing this teaching maybe on a Saturday or a Tuesday or something. And this lady from New York Times was following me around for like 3 days.
Wow.
She came to I Love My City. I took her to Backyard Bowls and we talked for like a couple hours. She came to Sunday service. I'll never forget when she came to the Sunday service. She's this New York Times reporter doing this article on me. And B. Win, remember B. Win?
Of course.
He brings this gold necklace. I still got it. He brings this gold necklace with this iced out Jesus. And during the mingle, when everybody's like, hey, 1 minute to mingle, turn around, say hi to somebody. He comes up to me and he puts it around my neck and she's videotaping the whole thing. Iced out Jesus. It's like thousands of dollars.
God.
The most iced out Jesus I've ever seen. In fact, I've seen some people with the same necklace and I'm like, I cannot wear this in public.
That is.
No.
So anyways, this lady I did an interview with Maria Shriver. My book, Faith Forward Future, was coming out at the time. That's a whole another story. But I did this leadership teaching, something about stuck. And she said, she watched it on YouTube when she went home. And she said, hey, the way that I felt when I watched you get interviewed from Maria Shriver is how I feel listening to this YouTube. And she goes, I think you're a really good preacher, but there's something special about when you talk about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lady that doesn't go to church.
Wow.
She's just a religion. I don't want to say just a religion. She's a religious journalist, maybe.
Yeah.
For New York Times.
Just a column or something.
But she can go, there's a grace when you speak about leadership.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's anointing. I want everybody to be anointed. But authority is this, oh my gosh. When you have the authority in people's lives, it's such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When you're the authority in your kids' lives, and your authority in your community, authority is a big deal. And so it's like influence. Don't ever minimize it or take it lightly. Authority. If you misuse or mishandle authority, it's going to develop people's mistrust in authority in the future.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter what the authority does, I've got to get my life to a place where it's like, I'm happy to be under authority.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm under the authority of my wife. We mutually submit. I'm under the authority of God's word. I have a board that can discipline me. I'm under their authority. And I call this being undercover.
Yeah, it's really good.
When you're undercover, there's such safety.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to make this choice. What do you think? Would you bless this? Would you agree? Is this what you sense? Immaturity is like, I don't want anybody talking in my life. I can't afford, like, I'm trying to do my thing. It's very immature, and it's not going to take you very far. And you probably just keep battling the same thing. And it's probably going to, what could have taken 40 days? Homie, it's going to take you 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would rather gladly, maturely surrender and submit my life. I love the word submission. I love the idea of it, to submit my life to God's word, to submit my life to God's plans, his precepts, his people that he's placed in my life. This to me brings great comfort. I would die if I was just out on my own doing my own thing.
Right. Yeah, I love that idea of submitting your life to something bigger than you. You're turning yourself into it. You're saying, here I am. You can do with me whatever you want. The only thing that Jesus is impressed with in Scripture is the proper use of authority.
That's right.
Not, anything else. He goes, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
It really, he's saying his faith, but it's because by his authority, he understood the faith.
That's exactly right.
So, but probably the number one thing leaders, get a bad rap for is the misuse of authority.
That's right.
And so that's why this thing's so triggering, because they just use it in the wrong ways.
Yeah, because authority, I think, is supposed to bring safety,
Right.
comfort,
Yeah.
security, and when
Right.
that's betrayed or violated, it's it makes
jarring.
sense. It leaves wounds, and so
Yeah, what's I don't know, Pastor Chad, trust is built in a lifetime, lost in
Lost
Lost
in
in-
seconds.
Yeah.
Lost in seconds. And so nobody's perfect. Of course, nobody's perfect. But I think that's why it's very aware too, when you have authority, to use it wisely, to use it really well, to monitor your actions and lifestyle, because you would hate to. I think this is such a. I'm going to give a thought, and I'm calling it a good thought. I apologize. This is such a good thought that I'm about to dispose. I think this is a great reminder today. You should always be gaining in two areas. Trust. People trust you more. And by the way, trust is this thing. No one ever walks up to you and goes, I trust you. They don't.
Yeah.
And nobody ever walks up and goes, I don't trust you. It's like quiet quitting.
You're right.
Quiet trusting is the same thing. I just trust you. Well, why? I discern you're trustworthy. Okay? You should gain in trust. You should gain in influence.
Yeah.
I just think influence is always up and to the right.
Yep.
We're not talking about relevancy. Relevancy and influence are two different things.
Right.
I'm not talking about infamous, because we don't want to be infamous for stuff or virality. Trust and influence are God-given, and that's a sphere of influence that he gives you. And even when Pastor Jensen was here, I was thinking just about he's not relevant, but his influence has never been bigger.
It's crazy.
totally.
And it's sovereign. That's mature. He doesn't get there without submitting to the authority of God's word and God's people in his life.
It's really good.
Third one, maturity is excellent, organized, prepared, and represents themselves well. Immaturity lives in constant want and constant chaos. I just believe this. Again, we just with Chris Hodges, he's telling this great story about the people from Hobby Lobby, the Green family came to visit him and what he's building at Highlands College, which is just unbelievable. Shout out to Highlands College. And they're walking around, and they're not asking really about the church as much as they're asking about, like, tell me about, you bought all your buildings in cash? Wait, hold on. Tell me about the vision for this. And as they're going through the details, he is reminded people do not give to want, they give to success. In other words, when you are constantly excellent, prepared, organized, you have your things in order, people are more prone to give to who they know will take care of it well. Than there are somebody who's like, I'm in want, I need this. But hold on, but you haven't been a good steward. So I always think it's immaturity that keeps you from having your bills in order, your finances in order, your life in order, your home in order. That's immaturity. Maturity is like, I'm going to work extra hard at preparation. I said at Divine Details with Travis. Shout out to Travis Green and Natalie Grant and Rich. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
We sit on these
So
big
cool.
chairs,
So
these huge sofas.
You were large.
Sit, lay,
Dear God, that was.
Crisscross applesauce.
But I was saying that old line. Your separation is in your preparation.
Yeah.
And maturity understands. Like back to Craig Rochelle. You know, Craig Rochelle, he sets out all of his clothes the night before. He's got his meal prep the night before. He's got his workout smoothie prep the night before. When you live with that intention, when you live with that excellence, again, people respect that because it's mature. Immaturity is like I'm just flying by the seat of my pants.
Yeah.
Just trying to make it happen, trying to make decisions. And I think that if you're going to go to another level, you can't live in that. You might get away with it once, at the most twice. But if you want to build as a leader, you got to be excellent. Hold on, let me just go through them. Excellent, organized, prepared, and represent yourself well. Next one, maturity is not easily offended or swayed by the opinions of others. Immaturity is guided by what other people think. I think that's why it's so important you choose your mentors. You choose your influences. You are becoming who you allow in your life. You are the sum total of your 5 most influential friends in your life. And so the more I choose that wisely, the more I do well. If I get some outside, they think they said this comment, and it's like you see people that live this way, it's like they're constantly impacted and affected by what other people think. I cannot allow other outside influences into what would my kids become?
Right.
What would my marriage become? What would I could never fulfill what God has called me to do by letting all these other outside voices.
Right.
How do you handle that?
I think it comes with a lot of building that vision that you've talked about. We talk about it. It's for so many episodes is the vision, the mission, the values, and making pre-decisions on this is who I am. This is who I'm going to be today.
Yeah.
This is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And this is my purpose. This is who I'm under authority of, who I'm submitting to. I'm submitting to God. Making all those decisions beforehand so that you can run every outside opinion, everything by those values, by, we take the Bible as our utmost authority, running things by, does that wisdom and advice line up with what God say? Does this outside voice have context in my life? Just running things by the decisions you've already made for your life.
That's right. Yeah, and I think to act like we're not influenced by others is so foolish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so impressionable. I will not drink Celsius because I watched one TikTok video that says it's meth.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't say it's meth, but pretty much.
Well, she did. Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense? Like,
Of course.
I watched that video. I'm never touching. Celsius. Never touching it in my life. Right now I'm watching these ones that I keep seeing these ones that like the front cover's like a hook. Like I got fired after 9 months at this job because they have you seen all these?
Oh,
and then
good.
you swipe
These
like
hooks are
7.
so
The
good.
hooks are it's all great like very salacious hooks
We got
on why you got
canceled by
fired.
30 million people. Here's our story.
That's exactly right. And then you swipe, and it's like all these things are good for your gut. All these things are good for like your what else? Like just brain health, And I always think like I'm so impressionable. I look at those and I'm like I gotta go buy all that stuff today. I'm going to Whole Foods after work and I'm buying all these products because wait, my gut health. I don't even know what gut health is, but I'm sure it's important.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm impressionable. Is my point.
Yeah.
That's why I know Julia, my wife, is very impressionable. And if I say something about you, it will get seeded into her. I'm such a firm believer of seed language, positive or negative. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So I've got to watch my words. But when it comes to outside influences, I have to mature to the place where I can land. That's their opinion, not mine.
Yeah.
In fact, I've started to try and apply this a little bit. When someone starts to say something, I try and because I'm not very argumentative by nature. You are.
Yes.
Enneagram 8,
Yes.
The challenger. Dear God, I'm just more of a godly Christian. And so,
working on it.
yeah, please God,
Done a lot better.
mature him, Jesus. But I think that I'm trying to just argue the other person's side.
Yeah.
Just to every opinion, there's an equal opposite opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so maturity goes, that's their experience. That's what they feel. That's what they believe. I've had different experiences. I have different beliefs. And trying to land on your own 2 feet, I really think that great leadership to me has this moxie, this confidence, this surety, this belief that's like, I've been thinking about this old worship song. When I was 16, I started to play piano in church. And we used to sing this song. When I first learned the piano, I played this thing for hours. It used to be this song. I'm going to sing first time Leadership Leader. Have I ever sang on Leadership Leader? Not real.
Not real.
Not
I'm going to do it
real.
first time. Hold on. Let me take a second. Let me take a second. The first time singing Leadership Leader. Are you ready? Key of G.
Wow.
Jesus, lover of my soul. Jesus, I will never let you go. You've taken me from the miry clay. You set my feet upon the rock, and now I know I love you. I need you. Though my world may fall, I'll never let you go.
Wow. We need an applause button.
That was my
I went somewhere with that.
that was my sophomore year in high school.
I went somewhere.
God just gave me a word.
But I've been thinking about that line in that song. Though my world may fall, they can leave, but I'm not.
Yep.
They can fall away. I'm not. I'm not promised anything or anybody. All that I got a calling.
Yeah.
I got a gift mix he gave me. I've got a little bit of intelligence. I'm just going to leverage the farm for whatever he asked me to do.
Yeah.
And I think immaturity is like, what are they doing? What are they about? Where are they going? Blah, blah, blah. And maturity is like, I know what he... That's why it says obedience is better than sacrifice. So many people get hung up on the sacrifice they're making. And I think you should be more excited about the obedience you're giving to God. Last one. Maturity. Trust the process and God's perfect timing. And immaturity takes matters into their own hands. And I think this is the great thing about God is that he's just, it's so funny. I came back from VU and they were singing this song. The second song of the set. No.
I love it. Encore.
Like, okay,
All
hey,
of a sudden,
go for it.
what if I take away my
I wasn't ready for
my
this.
iPad? I just start having a keyboard every session. Next episode, I'm gonna have a keyboard. I'm just gonna play.
genre of
I'm gonna play.
podcast
I'm gonna
changes.
play my own ending to Leadership Lean In.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Wait,
the problem.
What would you even play it
To
on?
be honest, that's the problem in church for me is that when it's a bad keyboard player, or a keyboard player's not. Remember when Jensen's like, "Stop rushing me."
10 times.
Yes, he did.
No. Yeah, Jubal. But oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. What was
Second
I?
song.
Oh, this song. I just love this song they were singing. I came back to the team yesterday in weekend walkthrough. I'm like, guys, they were singing this song. I love this song. It's something about being on time God. I think one church wrote it, and they're like, we've been asking you if we could play this song. And I was like, do it. They're like, they're doing it this Sunday. I'm just that made me laugh so hard because I'm like, man, I thought this song was amazing. They're like, yeah, we've been telling you, bro.
Yes, we pitched it.
But outside voices, I don't let them in. I just think maturity is just going like, he's never too early, he's never too late.
Right.
And that immature leader is like just forcing, manipulating, moving. That's why they got that 2-year itch.
Yep, that's so real.
Is that 2-year itch. Then, they say in marriage, the big years are
7 and
16.
16.
7 and 16 is that itch.
Interesting.
It's that itch. By the way, I'm on 16 right now.
Wow.
I keep on holding her close every night. Oh. But I think that it's just like the more I lead, the more I understand this whole thing is sovereign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's, I get frustrated when or we set goals or we have metrics for success and we don't hit them. How do we go, how can we tell if it's God's timing or we just mess this thing up? This is on us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. we'll never know.
Jeez.
Does that make sense?
That's not the answer I wanted to hear, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
All that I can do is like I've probably said it 1,000 times, but I'll never get over this thought. I can control my attitude and my input.
Yeah.
How hard I work and the spirit and attitude in which I work. That's all I got. The rest of it's like I'm not going to try and maybe there's some negativity to this where I'm not forcing things or I'm not trying to make stuff happen at the rate that I should. I have to wrestle with that because, there is a sovereignty component, but you got to give God something to work with.
Yeah.
Faith without works is dead, that whole thing, of course. I'm just saying immaturity, I find, is more dependent upon networking than maybe prayer or forcing things.
Yeah.
And I heard Pastor Robert Morris give a message one time on the Herods in the Bible and how forceful they were, what they forced to make happen.
Jeez.
And you can force stuff. I can make anything happen pretty much.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to be honest, I could make a lot of things happen right now, today.
Yeah.
I would have to sustain all of it is the only problem. And that's the thing about maturity. Maturity goes like, I know if I'm just in that unforced rhythm and I'm really sensitive to where I should be and what I should be doing, then it's going to all work out at a rate and a level of grace that I just could never conjure myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's maturity. I think we've all failed at that so many times where you're just like, okay, I'm done. That's about enough of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink coffee instead of Celsius, and I'm going to keep my teeth white instead of, Anyway, so
With coffee?
oh yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, wait a second.
Wait, that's a
Hey.
good.
But with
That
coffee-
is a great comeback with coffee.
With coffee, you
Wow,
have teeth.
interesting. Anyways, let's grow. Let's mature. Let's become who we're supposed to become. We're just a nation of leaners trying to get a little bit better. We'll see you next episode.